On the defensive line, Will Anderson, really talented rookie defensive edge rusher, likely not going to play against the Browns. But they do have another guy. Take us through this next clip, why it's important and what the Browns need to be aware of.
So they got two guys that I really, really like on the defensive line. Well, Cashman is a guy who has played. So their other linebackers, Harris, Cashman are linebackers. Denzel Perriman's a good linebacker, but the two guys inside, Jonathan Grenard has 52 tackles and 12.5 sacks. He's a guy that's got an excellent pass rush plan. He's very good speed to power, number 52 there. He's the one who gets them around the ankles here. He's very, very good. The Browns have to account for him. I don't think they can leave their backup tackles singled up against this guy. The other guy I really like inside is their defensive tackle, Malik Collins. Malik Collins is a guy very, very aggressive, good with his hands. Very stout against the run. They're going to have to double him in their run game. So those are the two guys, besides Will Anderson, that have been very good. Will Anderson's another guy that's had some injury issues. But I think those two guys, Collins, especially in the run game, and Grenard in the pass game, the Browns really got to account for.
So is that a concern that it's kind of in the middle because Flacco, not a mobile guy, if pressure coming at you is a little more difficult to get away from when you're not as mobile?
Well, I think, the good thing is Collins is a pretty solid pass rusher, but he's better against the run. So their big pass rushers are on the edge in their forefront. So that's a good thing because you're right. The A-gap pressure for a quarterback is very, very tough. I don't see them getting a ton of A-gap pressure, especially with the Browns being so good inside. Post-it coming back. Even with Harris, they're very good inside. The Browns are very well schooled inside, and those guards are so good. So I feel okay there. I'll tell you what, a Teller and Batonio versus Collins is the price of admission. I'll tell you that, both in the run and pass game. But I think the Browns will be okay as long as they can do a little bit of play action, keep these guys off, not pinning their ears back, and having to be careful for the run. The Browns should be okay. Flacco gets rid of the ball. He knows what he's doing. They can attack these secondary guys in the middle pretty well.
So let's flip it and see what can the Browns attack offensively. Take us through this next clip and what you think it could mean for the Browns.
Well, I think over the middle is a very important part. So Okonkwo from the Titans has some success in the middle against their safeties and against their linebackers. And they do struggle across. So they play zone, they play man. They're pretty diverse in what they do defensively. But across the middle, they're Stingley, Nelson. They got some guys on the outside. They're pretty good cover guys. But where they're weak in terms of coverage would be in the slot. So I look for the Browns to move Cooper into the slot a little bit. Obviously with Njoku, the backside of the backfield. Ford's done a nice job catching the ball. Obviously those are short throws for Flacco, getting rid of the ball quick. This is going to be a big week. So Okonkwo had a pretty good week at 3 catches, 60-plus yards last week. I think Njoku's going to have a big, big week against these linebackers. As good as Perriman is, as good as Harris is, these guys are really good. They're not great cover guys. They're more tackle thumper guys who like to tackle. So make these linebackers cover Njoku, and I think they're at a disadvantage.
The other thing that the Texans defense has been very proficient at is taking the football away. How big of a concern is that? We say it every week, but Browns seem to find a way to turn the ball over and still win.
Well, I tell you what, as a coach, this is going to catch up with them. So they have to stop turning football over. They're playing too close to the vest. They don't have that freedom of being able to score 35 to 40 points every time they go out there. They just don't have that explosiveness on offense right now. But what they do have is an elite defense. And I've been saying this for weeks to multiple people. If you end last week, if they end every drive with a kick, that includes a punt, the Bears score 3 points. So if they can do that, if they can protect the football and they can attack those safeties and those linebackers in coverage with, Cooper in the slot and Njoku, the back out of the backfield, take some shots over top once in a while to Goodwin, these guys, I think they just got to keep it close. Browns are going to win these games. Me and you and I have said it for a couple weeks now. They're going to win every game 3 to 5, 7 points max, but it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as an ugly win. There's only ugly losses. So Browns just got to figure out a way to attack the weaknesses of that Texans defense, which is a good defense. They're going to be able to stop the run. The Browns have to throw the ball pretty well this week.
The Browns have struggled to run the football. I think it was 1.6 yards a carry. Do they try to do that, or at some point do you just kind of say, we have to work around what we can do on the ground?
See, I've always been against, we're going to throw the ball every time, because what that does, that totally takes the defensive lineman and allows them to pin their ears back. That defensive lineman has to think, whether it's successful or not, that he's going to get run blocked, he's going to get double teamed, he's going to get reached, he's going to get down blocked. that defensive lineman has to think that, because if he doesn't, then he's just getting in those wide threes and wide five like Schwartz like to do, and they're just pass rushing. And when you get to the point where you're just pass rushing, especially with backup tackles, backups to the backups at tackle, those guys are good, but those guys are backups for a reason. They're not going to be able to hold up in there. They're very good if you can run the ball. Even if you don't have a ton of success, that defense has to think you're going to run it once in a while, or they're going to pin their ears back. Browns don't have to run the ball great. They have to run it situationally, and they have to have some big pickups on third down, and then rely on Flacco to do the rest. And I think that can get done with this defense.